Hi, this is Tutor P, and this is lesson 704. Title of today's lesson is the difference between accident, incident, and disaster. All right, now this is a request video by a student, and he wanted to know when you would use one of these and when you wouldn't use the other. Okay, so first some information. Both accident and incident refer to events that were unplanned and unexpected. So in that sense, there's a little crossover. However, in order to be an accident, there must be some harm, injury, or damage to at least one or more people. Incident does not necessarily have to be damage. All right, let's continue. Technically, incident is a subset of accident. Thus, every accident is an incident, but not every incident is an accident. Now, having said that, it's still more likely we'll use one word than the other in certain situations. If nobody was hurt or injured, incident is most likely used. However, sometimes incident is also used with some hurt or harm. All right, let's continue. Disaster is a very bad event that is on a much larger scale, although we could say something is a personal disaster as well. So even when it's personal, it's very serious for that one person. It's large for that one person. But when we use it in a general sense, then usually we're talking about quite a few people, maybe in the hundreds or at least dozens or something like that. All right, let's continue. All right, he supplied this first example, and he wanted to know which one would we be most likely to use. At least 249 people died in an. Now, even though incident could be used most of the time as accident, but here incident would be too weak a word because 249 people died. So we're not likely to use incident. Could you use accident? You could, but we're more likely to use accident if we said like a form of transportation. Like if you said 249 people died in a plane accident or a train accident or something like that, then we're more likely to use accident. Probably the best answer here would be in this case, if it's disaster, it would be a disaster. So I added this note. If you want to emphasize the amount of destruction, disaster would be best. So sometimes it depends upon what you want to emphasize or stress too. If you want to emphasize that it was, from some vehicle or form of transportation, then accident might be better. Let's continue. All right, number 2, he was killed in a fatal. Now, again, incident would be too weak here, a word. And disaster, since it's probably only one person, we're probably not going to say disaster here. So here, accident would be the best. He was killed in a fatal accident. All right, now I added this one. It was a or an, for his family. So again, incident is too weak. Accident, well, it's a little awkward to say it was an accident for his family. He got into an accident. Here, this is the one you would use for like a personal disaster. It was a disaster for his family because his family is a very terrible thing. One of their family members died. So for them, it's a personal disaster. Okay. All right, number 4, there was a shooting, blank in that robbery, but nobody died. All right. I think incident might actually be the best here because even though it was kind of serious, nobody died, nobody was injured. There was a shooting. Now, accident would be weird because the shooting was done on purpose. And if we usually use accident to kind of emphasize something was not done on purpose. And since nobody died or nobody was even injured, disaster would not be suitable here. So incident would be best for this one. All right, number 5. There was, blank outside that legislative building. Rioters threw eggs and vandalized things. This is another one. Probably incident is best. Even though there was some, harm or a little violence, they threw eggs, they broke something, but nobody was seriously hurt. It wasn't that serious. So incident would probably be better. And again, accident would not be good here because the rioters did this on purpose. So we probably won't use accident if somebody is doing something on purpose. And disaster is too strong a word here. All right, let's continue. Number 6, he was injured because of, or an in his home. Incident you could, but it's a little weak. Probably accident is best. And disaster, if it's just an injury, you're probably not going to call it a disaster. All right, number 7. He didn't mean to hurt him. It was all right, now probably incident would be weird. So it was an accident, especially when you want to emphasize that somebody didn't mean to do it, or somebody didn't do it on purpose. Accident would be more likely. Okay, anyway, I hope you got a better feel of when you might use one of these rather than the other in these sort of situations. All right, I hope you got it. Hope it's clear. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.